for September 2nd, I do believe, 2015. Roll call, please.
Councilperson Smith. Councilperson Ed. Councilperson Wadsworth.
Present.
Councilperson Sellers.
Present.
Councilperson Webb.
Present.
Councilperson President Gill.
Present. Was that the?
Councilperson Joyce. Councilperson Owens.
He's going to be late.
Councilperson Samuels.
Here.
Okay, so, okay, and Shane is here, so Shane,
Planning and zoning.
we have planning and zoning in,
Page
just,
6.
yes, page 6.
Evening, everybody.
I can really only speak for myself, but I do have some issues with the budget and got some concerns with this budget.
Okay.
But we're kind of doing like we did last year, performance pools being pulled under council.
Okay.
Any hires is going to be pretty much, well, I don't think you have any requests in there, but it's not till after circuit breakers. Of course, performance pool will go back to your budget after circuit breakers like we did.
Okay.
If everything works out the way we intend it to. And then but you don't have any capital purchases, but capital purchases 5,000 and up is being pulled under council.
Okay.
So you may begin. I didn't see anything that really stood
The
out.
only thing I added back in that was taken out last year was the very bottom line with the software hardware, just to give me opportunity to buy software and hardware for staff. We do some of the planning projects we do in-house require expensive software packages for putting together professional documents, as well as if we have to replace computers and stuff like that. So I added that back in. It was, I don't remember why it was pulled out last year, but it was.
So is that a necessity for your day-to-day? Is that what you're saying? Because we're trying to put a priority list, because here is my concern, is within the general fund, we have the estimated cash balance for estimated revenue is for impact is 29,906,503, and the proposed is 32,108,348. So we're just trying to get it more to what our revenues are, at our revenues, if you know. So kind of making a priority list. So you want to pitch your plea for your $5,000 for your software?
Well, one of the software packages that we need is InDesign, and that's it's important for putting together professional documents. It's about, I believe it's around $1,500 to $2,000. If I can shift other monies around that I haven't used, to cover other hardware, or find old equipment other places. I know we have at least Linda's computer is about to go out, so I need to replace that. So by the time I replace the tower and everything, that'll be a little bit. I don't know if we can get a secondhand one from somewhere else. I suppose I could look at that. Or I might be able to shift some money from somewhere else that I haven't used, if I get to that point.
I assume we will treat that like capital and move that or leave that.
I would say let's use it like capital and remove it, but I understand. This is kind of the problem that we have when, who's our IT guy? Matt came.
Sure.
And he said, well, sometimes I use this for people who don't have money to get computers, and, some departments do and some departments don't. And when they have old computers, they need to be replaced, not somebody's handing down because it's been gotten rid of for a reason.
And Linda uses her computer.
Yeah.
So she does need a new computer.
So. Yeah, we'd used Creative Cloud before, which is, so if you get a subscription to Creative Cloud, InDesign is one of about 30 other packages you get. So you can go in and use Photoshop and the other packages they have and then combine those into professional documents. I don't even know if you can buy InDesign by itself now. You used to be able to buy it as a disc and download it onto your computer, but I think now the way that they have it set up, it's all cloud-based. And so you have to buy the package and do that.
It seems that we treat it like the other. We pull it out, move it over, and for our circuit breakers. But then when we come back and prioritize, I think we need to allow each department to. I don't think we ought to say. I'm just making this up. If the street department has all these needs, I don't think we should give the street department all the monies that we have available. But though we need to allow each department to choose themselves. And since he only has 1-2 items, maybe he could say that's what I really need. And then because it's kind of a small amount in the whole scheme of things. So I don't want Shane to leave here thinking, oh, I don't get it in my software.
No.
But it'll
I'm
probably
okay.
be after February or March, I would guess.
Okay.
What we're thinking about. Does that sound doable or what?
That's what I said, for each department, making a priority list.
Yeah.
I thought we were only moving if it was more than 5,000, and do we want to move this 5,000?
Yes.
Well, that's true, if we were, we were adding 5,000 capital on everybody.
That's,
I don't care, I just,
It doesn't really matter. I think we did that. My thinking on that was when we have people that are asking for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we say, well, we'll leave them some in there.
yeah.
But it doesn't. To me, it doesn't really much matter if we just ask.
I'm not going to leave here super upset if you
Okay.
don't include it, but if you
The
include
main
it,
thing
that'd
is
be great.
we want to make sure we think we'll be covered with our circuit breakers, but we want to make sure we're covered.
Okay.
And then we say, okay, that's when we got our budget.
When does that normally happen? It seemed like it happened a little bit later this last year. It seemed like it was like March, April, May.
You wanna
and we
move
want
it
to
or
make
not
sure
move it?
that,
And if our computer breaks down before then, you can always come back to the council. and
Okay.
say, Look, I need that money.
Yeah, let's just move it.
Yeah.
oh, so he's saying yes, move it. They're
And-
saying yes, move it under council.
Okay.
And even the software.
Okay.
You have a difference of $7,248.50 for the zoning administrator.
I've had this printed out today, a fresh one right before I came, and I
That's
don't know that I can, you
the
can explain that?
difference from like the
Because
other
your
ones.
new hire wasn't for a full year.
Okay.
If you look at mid-year, he's right, look at the mid-year, it's only 30, yeah, he's close to that already.
Oh, so that's not going
This takes care of the full year.
Yeah.
All.
Look at
Gotcha.
that, yeah, in 6 months, he's almost.
Okay. So I was actually a little confused by that as well.
If you look at the 6/30/15, you're
okay.
Good.
I think, yeah, your budget's pretty much,
Okay.
yeah, you're good, Shane. Thanks
You
for all
do
you
good,
do.
Shane, you do good.
you're way
Thanks.
ahead of that.
Pardon?
You're way ahead of the schedule, the rest.
Great.
Oh, fire's already here, so
Do you need me to,
send them in.
do you guys need to vote on this, or how's this work?
No, we're having
Well,
another
fire's
work.
not till after our
Yeah.
break.
No, they switched it, remember?
No.
Yes, we did. I sent
That's
an
not
email.
to remember, I didn't
Oh,
say,
oh,
no,
oh,
not arguing with you.
You want to come over
We're
here,
switch
Steve?
spots.
You want to come over here, Steve?
Come over there.
I will walk out right now. I've lost my whole train of thought.
I think we're trying to decide if it was time for me to walk away and say thank you or not.
Yes, walk away.
No,
All
you
right.
need to stay, Shane. We need some bodies in here.
All right.
Great.
Thanks. I
Oh,
Can we
Lord.
get the fire in here? We gotta wait?
No. it's-
Yeah, I'll grab him, or I'll call him. Me too.
Les said he couldn't do.
Thanks, everybody.
No, couldn't do early,
Oh.
so he changed it for him and the mayor and something else. So yeah.
They're upstairs with Judith.
Where is, what page are they on, please?
I think Shane might.
Early on, like 2, maybe 1 or 2 or
Probably won't take his budget's right up front.
4. And they probably have some non-revertings, I don't
Oh,
know.
I'm sure.
Do the police or fire have non-revertings?
They have no money, they don't, no, not in here, because there's no cash.
We have just their
I think
Lloyd.
it's Lloyd. We need to take out like where they want new construction on it, you know how they do that every year.
I do.
Something you know.
Especially since
Getting a
are
new
we
truck.
gonna be low on Lloyd?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Get stuck in the roundabout?
Actually, I went around the roundabout.
You went
The
to
guys
guys?
here,
Went around it.
Am I in the right spot?
You are. You got,
Oh, here, let's go back. Go back down. I'll go.
What is that?
Okay, all right. No, just sign it and tip.
I'm wrong. Forgive me. Oh, man.
Had a schedule, that's a good thing.
That's right.
Yes.
I thought it was just the finance committee.
We will be on page 4 for start with fire.
I didn't hear what you said. I'm sorry.
I was just telling them we're on page
Oh.
4 for your budget.
Oh, the green book here's my
Yeah,
reference.
And Eric, I'm sure you know that we're kind of doing with, so letting all department heads know, like we did last year, the performance pool, which of course you're all contractual, but any civil employees is being pulled under council till after circuit breakers. Any employees is after circuit breakers. And also capital 5,000 and above is being, not the Lloyd, but being pulled under council till, we see
Yeah,
where
I
we're
don't
at.
think we have any, right?
You've got the floor. Is there anything you need to bring to our attention? Hit on the significant.
Some of the changes and some of these as I go down from the top, I'm sure you guys have already found the correct page, page 4, middle. 3 down is the part-time employee. This is a administrative assistant or staff member for Sissy Ellis. We've had just one administrator since, I'm not sure, I guess forever, since the department, since I've been around, I know, and we still just have one, and we've grown. The bills have grown, the claims have grown, but one other thing is that when Sissy's off, we just have to shut the office if we're out. People come in for reports, and I'd like to have somebody part-time that can relieve her where she can go to lunch. She does go to lunch now if Bruce or somebody stands by, but would like to have a part-time helper. I've actually put in for it. I think we talked about it last year. I don't know who was on this committee. I think we discussed it last year, but same thing. The reason the number is what it was, I think the number last year, I put a general number in there of 25 or 30. That number is actually a calculated number that Heather used on the pay scale that Liz has on a, how many hour week did we use? 30? I think a 30-hour week at the pay scale rate, and it come out to be that amount of money. Overtime is a number that, as you guys are familiar with over the years, we're actually in overtime crunch right now for this year. Our budget for overtime is about to run out. I'm moving some money. I moved some money around a meeting ago from accrued benefits, but we've had, I've actually got all that stuff. It's kind of, I'm jumping topics to this year's budget, but overtime this year is actually in dire straits. I want to meet with Heather and Amy about possibility of moving some other 100 money over there from Social Security, something that we can look at, that we may have some remaining money in before we come to you guys. Try to exhaust everything in the 100 before we come for any additional.
And your OT, a lot of that is because of FMLA, because all the babies you all bring.
Yeah, I actually brought that. I was just kind of curious about how many FMLA days that we've had, and I think we're at 74 FMLA days this year that's been taken in the fire department. We've had a total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, well, eight pregnancies and 9 babies. One of them was twins so far this year. But we have 3 more still to come that are pregnant, that are still going to take FMLA. So we're going to have 12 out.
This
Do
year.
they, you're getting 3 questions at once.
Go ahead.
Do they burn personal time?
Yeah, they burn their personal time. The key to FMLA that hurts us so bad, FMLA is a good program, is that they use it, they get approval to be off. They do have to use their time. But it is above and beyond, it's guaranteed time off. So it puts us into a scenario with, hey, 4 people on vacation, and Steve, mom, or he's off for 6 days for FMLA. So that's above and beyond the regular people being off, which throws us into, but it isn't free time off. They have to use their vacation time to be off.
How far out in advance do you approve vacation time?
Vacation time? Vacation time gets approved in January and February for the year.
Okay, so if I'm going to take off in June, I've got to put in for it in February, and it gets approved in February?
Yeah, we have 2 regular vacations that you put down that are supposed to be in, actually, it's about March 1st, you get to the end of February, to put those time in for the year. Now, you have additional vacation time that you can put what we call single days that you can put in if there's any openings. That's done by seniority. At the beginning of the year is done by seniority also, but it's a rotating list. You get to pick your days you want off, then it circles back around. You get to do that twice.
So then, if I decide to take a single day off, how far in advance would I put that in for?
30 days.
30 days.
30 days is the max. You can't put down a day right now, today. If it's October 3rd, you can't put it down. You can put down October 2nd today.
Okay. So I can't be more than 30 days out in my request.
Yes.
And then how long of a period is there between my request and the approval? If I asked off today for October 2nd, how long would it take for you to approve that?
That gets approved if it's open that day
Immediately?
through the computer, through Telestaff. If you put in for October the 2nd, and it's available, meaning there's only like 3 people off and we can have 4,
Right.
Matt Owen puts in there. Now, it would get approved that day.
Gotcha.
Now, if Nathan wants off and he's got seniority,
Right.
he can bump you tomorrow, and he'll have that day.
Okay, well, what if,
And then that gets mad at me.
right.
And then Matt gets mad at Nathan, and then
And
It's
so
ugly.
if I requested it off for tomorrow, 29 days ago, and today Nathan decides he wants off tomorrow,
no, yeah, it's a good question. He's got to give you 72 hours notice.
okay. I'm just wondering, Nathan can bump me for seniority, but Steve can't bump me for going into labor, is what I'm getting at. Like,
No,
We'll make money on that.
not you personally, but
right, no,
I'm gonna take an
the
FMLA
FMLA
day.
doesn't bump anybody.
Why doesn't that
FMLA doesn't bump anybody.
Why is that?
It's guaranteed time off. It doesn't even get approved through my office. It gets approved through Kim.
Yeah, that's kind of like a federal state requirement by law.
Well, I understand that it's guaranteed time off, but I just wanted off to go fishing. Why am I guaranteed off?
That's a medical leave though.
I think his point is it costs us quite a bit more because of the
Oh, it does.
I mean,
Back in the day, and
Yeah.
to put your point into perspective, back in years ago when somebody was scheduled to have a baby, they guessed the day that the baby was going to be due, and in that January, February time frame,
Everybody waiting for that.
they took their vacation, so they would be off when the baby came. Now you don't have to do that anymore.
no.
You just plan your vacations however you want to, and when the baby comes, you just go see Kim.
Here.
And no, not anything against Kim, but you go see HR, they say, your FMLA is approved for 9 days, which is,
Right. The thing I'm struggling with is I'm just taking a fishing trip and somebody else is getting off because the federal government says they get off. Why do I still get off? Shouldn't I get bumped?
no, that's
If we have a-
contractually, I guess, we're able to have 4 regular vacations
Right,
a day.
right. So we have 4, and Steve's wife goes into labor. Now
So
we've got
he's-
5.
Right. And that's where it
Only allowed
costs
to
us.
have, we're only allowed to have 4. So shouldn't one of the 4,
You're not treating FMLA as vacation.
No, I don't think you can. I don't think it's,
The only way to change that, I guess, would be is in the contract, say, if you have a situation where you have FMLA off, then according to the 5th person, or the 4th person on that list,
seniority.
would get bumped or whatever, because we don't want any more than 4 off at one time.
Right.
That'd have to be, I guess,
Yeah.
contract driven.
Yeah, I mean, actually, we kind of addressed some of that in contract, I don't have it before.
Yeah.
We
I
have
just-
real scenarios.
I don't understand why minimum staffing, or, I don't know.
No, I think that's a worthy conversation. I'm not sure legally, and Scott can maybe look into it, but I don't, it's a really touchy thing legally that Kim knows inside out, but
We're
I
not
know that-
counting, we're not counting FMLA day as a vacation day, or as somebody on vacation, but we still have a certain number that we allow off, for whatever reason.
And what Nathan said would be the way that would work is if FMLA was approved, then the person that has the least amount of seniority of the 4 that's already scheduled to be off
Right,
would then
lose their
be
day.
bumped out of his day because of the FMLA day.
Right.
But that is not the way it's done now.
Those are issues that were brought up extensively in contract negotiations. I understand your point, man. That was something that was on in the new contract. A lot of people already had.
So it's a contract issue.
It's a contract issue, exactly. We spent a lot of time going through it. A lot of it was previously given in prior contracts. You renegotiate the new contract without getting the details of the prior negotiations. But once you give something in contract, it's hard to take it back out.
Well, I mean, we're asking for $250,000.
For
next
example.
year in overtime,
I don't disagree with those are the issues we're in.
$250,000. I've had a rough day, I'm sorry.
But
Gee, I remember it was a lot more than
it
that.
used to be 850 at one
Yeah.
year, but,
Right.
It was a million one.
yeah.
It was a million.
A lot of them negotiated during the contraction.
And one thing that would happen in that scenario, certain days are popular for vacation. Say it's, the kids are only off for 8 weeks now with the short summer, so say you're off or you're regular, you've scheduled to be off and go to Florida for 2 weeks with your family in July. Then all of a sudden Nathan takes FMLA. Though you have planned to be off, you're a low seniority guy.
Right.
And you're like, hey, my 2-week vacation just got canceled. I'd paid for the condo and everything, but Nathan's baby came early, so,
Life happens.
You're really
Yeah.
mad at me. Really
But-
mad.
I am really upset.
but that's just a scenario that could happen, because some days are more popular than,
Happens where I work.
pretty soon guys will be trying to plan their pregnancies for the summertime. If you But that is, that did not used to, I was talking to Heather,
Getting us.
FMLA is just,
Please, good conversation.
I don't know how long it's been in place, Scott.
It's fairly new.
Yeah, but they're now figuring it out, that what is approved, and they now have figured out that you do not have to plan for your wife's pregnancy. It's automatic.
Yeah.
You don't have to plan for it. You just,
So
whenever.
how does Garcia fit in then?
Garcia's a whole nother, Garcia only kicks in when you work. Now, see, you go out of the Garcia cycle if you don't work. So Garcia now with telestaff has been solved. You only get Garcia if you work that 10th day of a cycle. A cycle is 9 days, but if you work the 10th day in the pay cycle, because of the way your day falls, you get Garcia, which is actually, Heather, half pay. I think it's half. It's not time and a half. It's half pay. But it's confusing. Yeah, that is the wrong Heather. Yeah.
Sorry.
But Garcia's not. But FMLA has definitely changed the firehouse time off
So
pattern.
I'm assuming that the Garcia, the clothing allowance, Social Security, the Impress, all that stuff's
Okay.
been bumped up a little for the 3 new hires, right?
Correct. Driver, yes, holiday pay, all of those are just straight mathematics of the number of people times 400. Let's see, where are you at here? Fire pension, That is something that's kind of figured at the controller's office. It's a percentage as well.
I'm on the next page. What's the training supplies? It's a new line item.
Training supplies is the state,
Hold on. Safety education supplies is the new line item. That's what I meant.
that is supplies for kids, coloring books, handouts,
Okay.
public safety.
We've done those things before, haven't we?
Yeah, we have a program that they sell sponsorships. We had always paid for them out of, I think, other supplies, and we've separated them into, now above that, fire investigative supplies is the fire marshals,
Yeah.
detectors,
Right.
gas meters, cameras. Training supplies is, this is, and Matt, you might be aware of this, the state has changed the curriculum for the state. They've redone the whole thing and made us, well, they did make us buy. We've got to buy all new state curriculum that we have now buying because of our new guys. But
You used to buy a book and you could pass the book down until the book was rewritten. Now you get a CD and you got to buy a new CD for every person that you hire.
it's ridiculous. And we can't,
Give us some money.
years past, we have shared that expense with Clarksville. We would have a instructor book curriculum that we would share. Hey, if you need it, we take it over there.
Pass it back.
Can't do that anymore. It's got to be licensed to our department. It's a big no-no if you get caught.
Licensing fees.
It's all
It just so
I think
happens
it's a
the guy
huge
that changed the
scam.
policy went to work for the company that sells the books.
You can only buy it from one person.
Yeah. And the guy that changed the policy left the state to go work for him, so that worked out, didn't it?
Why is the office supplies 14,000 so far from 630, you've only used 2,000.
Oh, let's see.
That's up at the top of that same page. 5. I don't know what you're looking at though.
Yeah, he's got the same.
The office supplies, I think, Heather, and you might not be able to, I think we moved money back in there from, I'll have to look at that, Connie, and get back. I think that money,
I think that needs to be cut.
maybe it was other supplies that we,
All supplies went up.
Right.
yeah, other supplies we're almost, we've used.
Yeah, I think this needs to be cut.
Just for
Chief?
And a lot of our office supplies, I know, like, I would have to pull that particular, I can pull that particular line item and see what expenditures we've made. We use,
Last year you only used 6,300.
yeah,
So far this year you've only used 2,100 as of June, at the end of June.
yeah, okay.
So I think we need to take that down to like 7,000, half it.
You in office supplies?
Top of page 5.
Because they did use 6,300 and I don't know what for, but
Well, if that's office supplies, what do you pay out of the other supplies that you're asking for that 10,000 more? Did you already say? Is that like cleaning supplies and?
There's
Other
a line item.
supplies is paper products, it could be medical gloves, batteries, anything that, a lot of it's paper. Toilet paper for the houses, paper towels, cleaning stuff.
so the cleaning people, do we buy that, I guess? And then they just put it in? I thought they supplied all that stuff here.
Who's that?
Depends on what contract they have.
The people here, because I know they purchased the toilet paper. We had this conversation.
Does he want to go by line, or do we want to jump around?
No, I want to go line by line.
Okay.
That would
So-
seem right.
Other supplies, or are we going back to the top?
Where y'all want him to
Or
start?
were you at cleaning supplies or other supplies?
I think we just need to go through it line by line.
Well, he already went through the fire guest, he already went through all that stuff, and now really,
Well, I'm looking at cleaning supplies, they've got 4,000 and they've spent $396.
I think she buys a lot of that stuff.
the other one, I gotta send the other one.
I know Deputy Chief Grant mentioned that he'll buy toilet paper by the pallet and store it, so he may just haven't bought toilet paper yet this year. Am I correct in that?
Yes, no, that's what right, I think that I can pull those items. I know that you guys, that particular line item, and see what she's purchased this year and what we are anticipating to purchase. But we buy things in the bulk and then store it. So I would guess that we have not bought our stuff this year,
So are you
if it's
$300?
$300.
So are you marking as we go along so you can get back to us so
Yeah.
we know, because it's needed? I want you guys to be without toilet paper. But that, if they buy
gonna
it by
come
the
back to us
pallet.
next.
I mean, we're going to, I can promise you, we've used more than $396 in cleaning supplies this year. We just probably buy them at the end of the year and use them for the year,
Well,
with the
that's-
5 firehouses.
Okay, so then you buy for all 5, I
Right.
guess.
Mhm.
So last year in 2014, then we spent 2,324.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. It must have,
So you want to approve them for 3 instead of 4?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. If you run out of TP, come see us.
yeah.
Nobody.
That's not for the record.
Put that down. And then the safety education supplies, that's what you said, that you get the things for the kids. and-
Right. Fire prevention stuff,
And the
That's good stuff.
which we hadn't had before. That's a new line item.
fire alarms, is that what? Or that comes
Yeah.
out of.
Yeah. Motor equipment supplies.
Training supplies?
That's the new curriculum.
That's right. Curriculum. Motor equipment supplies? What-
Bruce? Yeah, this is, we had 15.
Move this down so I can see what else we got.
Except for salary.
So this over here is the increase in the amounts.
I'm just
So we
trying to
put,
think. Tires and tools, supplies. Repairs and maintenance, I hope so, I was trying to see.
And we'll just let it go from there.
I mean, I think it's good to get the
Thinking that's,
feedback and
Yeah.
what
the
we
house,
can.
the equipment in the houses, appliances, or not appliances,
Do it all the time.
that's,
HVAC, plumbing,
I thought we were going to discuss.
see,
supplies for the trucks.
that's repairs and maintenance,
Heavy
right?
maintenance.
Yeah. The motor equipment supplies, that's going to be the repair of the trucks, parts on the trucks, parts on the, that's not tires. Tires has its own line item.
There might be something there.
You anticipate an increase in that?
It's under
In
tax.
motor equipment supplies,
Yes.
we, we have some new apparatus. I would not anticipate that it goes up,
But for our,
you know,
isn't it, we gotta
Yeah.
repair it.
yeah,
Here.
but we're getting through that. You're going to get mad again.
I hear you, Samuel. I hear you.
Why you want us,
You gotta have money in there to repair those things. It's for
Big
our.
mistake. He's
I would
trying
think that the motor equipment supplies, with the new apparatus and the new apparatus that we just got, could probably stay the same.
to- Right. Knock that-
So what are you saying, stay the same?
15.
15?
Right, from this year.
What line was that?
Like tires and
Equipment
tubes,
supplies.
whenever we buy tires, they're very expensive, and we're getting ready to buy a set of 6 for one of our ladder trucks, the older one. So that's a good example of 14% of the budget being used. Here we are 66% through the year,
Right.
where you would say, well, that's too much money. We will probably spend more than that when we're done. on tires possibly. So those are,
No change there. We talked about others.
Well,
Okay.
we're probably gonna, I think what we were talking about, Nick, and we're probably gonna do this tomorrow when we start going through and redoing stuff, so.
What's your increase in contractual services for?
contractual services from 55 to 70. We are going to try to contract out some of our specialized training. I can do it in-house with overtime, but I don't think that's the best. I think you can hire out some of the training guys. We actually have a guy that's training the new guys now cheaper than what we can do it with overtime from our own guys.
What do you consider special, like water rescue?
Well, confined space, water rescue, hazmat. We really need a training officer, and the union is probably going to come to you guys with that request. To avoid that, I'm going to try to get a contracted guy to do the training, to avoid another full-time position. I'm sure they're going to come to the council with that request, but
So what you're saying is you'd like to contract that out,
Right.
saving your overtime.
saving the overtime, right. I can't afford to take somebody offline to do that, because then I have to replace that person online with somebody for time and a half. So, computer software, we have increased the computers in the department by the CAD equipment and all the trucks and the vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
And you should see an increase also in, okay, we already increased it. Okay, the cell phone should have increased for all the MiFis. I'm wondering, Bruce, did we already increase it for this year? Because they're already in place. It increased last year. It increased last year. I knew there had to be an increase because we got MiFis, which is basically a cell number attached to each of the apparatus for the computers, much like the police. But I think that increase happened last year on the budget because those are already being used. Telephone, same. Travel, same. We do have a travel training trip coming up in December that for a incident management team training. Any other?
Skip down to training. You're asking for another $4,000.
That's just, again, for the training of, we're going to have 3 new guys. So between, I hope we have 4 with the replacement of one of our retirees that we're going to have to get trained.
Training, because I thought a lot of what you guys did was in-house. Or I might have it confused.
We do it in-house as far as at our station, but it's done by specialists, the EMS training. We pay for, then they have to have hazmat training, technical rescue training, firefighter 1 and 2 training. That's what all of our guys are going through right now. There's ones that we just hired. They should be done about October 1st. But that is a training increase for the new hires that we have coming in, anticipate coming in next year.
Eric, I'm going to take us backwards
32.
to the page 4.
32.
Under fire salaries, the increase of the 277. Is that more than 3 officers or 3?
Well, that is actually the increase for the
3 this year?
whole year for the 3 that we get next year. But we also have to pay for the 3 that we got this year for the entire year, opposed to we just paid for them for half a year this year. Does that make sense?
And I was gonna say,
And the raise on the contract is in there as well.
but it's 3 new,
3 new,
and then everything else is either contracted or the rest of the year from last year.
correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Eric, back on that training, I noticed where 15 was, did you have a lot of training last year over 14?
Training for last year, I don't think we hired anyone last year, anybody new.
You had a lot of different, what, did you start different training, like hazmats and stuff like that?
We did some special, well, we did a lot of that training last year, we were able to get done on a grant.
13 and 14, biggest portion was on that.
We got a grant that we took advantage of to do a lot of that training.
Okay,
A lot of our training in 14 was, and 13 was on a grant.
I got you. Okay. And that's why they didn't, okay.
And that is a,
Y'all have any more questions on
it's
that?
an awful lot of increase.
I moved to Lloyd on page 32 if you don't have any more questions.
Chief, we're on page 32 and 33. There's a third line for
Gotcha.
training for 14,000 on page 33.
Oh,
33?
Sorry.
well, I want to know what repairs and maintenance was in 32.
Oh, sorry. I missed that one.
We're going back to 30.
Let's go back to 32 before we, repairs and maintenance.
I'll wait my turn.
So the red numbers is something that was there last year that's gone, right? What we did, not to clarify a little bit, is you'll notice that 48,500 has been taken out of uniforms, but there's been a new line item created called, it's not new, it was created in the middle of this year, it's actually in place right now, right Heather?
Yes.
That is called safety equipment. So,
Good eye.
just,
On 32?
Well, he's from out there.
Which is, turn out here, globes.
Yeah, that's what I just asked him about, yeah.
Oh.
What's the repairs and maintenance for the 14,849? What kind of repairs and maintenance? Is that for the houses?
yes, this is for capital repairs and maintenance to the, primarily down at station number 1 still. We probably need to meet about a long-term plan of what we're going to do with that station. It's 50 years old, I think this year. And the floor is sinking, the pipes underneath, the drains of the floor is collapsed. We're going to have to probably figure out if we're going to keep trying to put Band-Aids on it or if we're going to try to, and I know that's the last thing on your all's mind, is build another firehouse. But that's where most of our repairs are made,
Does that?
in stations 1 and 3, but most of them at station 1. The windows, you guys have walked through there. We've put new carpet in, we put some new ceiling tiles in, and we've done some painting.
Got the beds?
Got new beds and new mattresses. So we've done some changes. The windows we haven't changed, they're the same windows. We never repaired those. We repaired the ones that could be repaired, but we didn't replace them. But Station 1, I think you guys have, I know a group of you walked through there with Bruce and maybe with Sean to see what we're dealing with.
And of course, that capital, oh, yes, ma'am.
The capital lease payment item can be reduced to 340,000.
Sweet.
Oh, cool.
Money saved right there. I don't know if it's really saved.
Money not expended.
Now the police have 35,000 more than you.
How'd that happen?
Ain't right. Gotta work it. Gotta work it.
Really? Because they were just in here carrying on about how much them fire trucks cost. So you're just trying
I'm
to
just looking at what the
Hey.
police
stir it
requested.
up.
The police department needs
What-
good equipment as well.
I'm just looking at what the police requested and what the fire requested.
Okay, let's go to 33 then.
Can we just go with the training? Because there's more training, I mean, why isn't all the training in one spot?
I think this is training equipment, Bruce. Is that what we,
Right, I mean, the props and everything.
the training props? Because we can't,
Yeah, we're not,
I think this is the training improvements for the training room and different things like that. We wanted to do I think it's in our realm now with Matt, to get a satellite, or not a satellite, but a TV where we can interlock everybody and do training when they're at their firehouse from their stations.
So they stay in the district.
So they can stay in their districts. So we get everybody out of their districts, and then something happens, we all got to, so we want to keep them in their district as much as possible. But I thought that's what that money was intended for.
What money is that, the training?
14,000. New. And then what's the
Where's my improvements on my list?
What's the improvement?
Improvements. Fitness rooms. We want to get the fitness equipment. A lot of stations don't have fitness equipment. We want to go ahead and purchase fitness equipment for all the stations. The stations that do have fitness equipment, it's aged. I've got my list right here.
We have a workout room right back here.
Yep, and we have the,
Yeah, but we can't take guys out of station.
You all have newer.
They don't work out when they're not on
Two
shift.
has it, Station 1 has it.
I mean, it's new
Four.
6 years ago.
They're not on shift.
Well,
We bought,
you know,
They use it it's,
it's hard for Station 4 to come down. Yeah.
you don't want to take Station 4 and bring them here.
'cause I mean, they could, I mean, they work one day, I realize it's a 3-day shift, but, I mean,
They live there.
well, they live there, but they could work out on the, you know.
I would like to encourage them to work out when they're at work. I like the idea that they work out when they're at the firehouses. Opposed to sit, I would rather them have that equipment to work out opposed to
You know, let's
encourage them to
take
work out at
there,
home.
he's walked.
Keep us going, Eric.
Where are we at? We're at,
We're at equipment.
equipment is radio replacement, 30 units. That should be safety equipment. No. Equipment is, no, this is right, 240. This is replacing our radio equipment, 30 units, and the mobiles and the portables. Our radio equipment is actually, they got 1 year left on them. They actually don't make them anymore. They make the parts for 1 more year on our radios that we have right now. We can get parts for them next year. The year after that, they won't be able to be repaired. There are 30 units plus the ones in the apparatus, and each one's about $6,500. Also in there is some infrared equipment that we wanted to use on the boat. It's a IR camera that you put, and it searches the water for body heat for just a search and rescue type of equipment.
vehicles?
Vehicles is a new battalion vehicle. On this battalion vehicle, we would like to put a light tower on it. That is a telescopic light that would go up to light up the scene, along with a mobile cascade, which would fill the air bottles.
Do any of the apparatus have any of that equipment?
No, sir. I mean, we have lights on the trucks.
But you don't have
Yeah.
the tower?
No. Or a cascade.
You have to bring your bottles back to station to fill?
Right.
God bless you.
And that could be an issue. If we were to have a massive fire where they're on the scene for a prolonged period of time, I mean,
Like apartment fires,
if you,
I have too many of those.
especially that Bridgepoint fire.
It'd be beneficial.
it would be worth having a cascade system that could be mobile.
And for the 60, that number was initially 90 and less and I cut it. But I think in the safety equipment, a couple down, we can talk again about, I think between the two, it is actually, the safety equipment line item is MSA or a SCBA air bottle connected. We have went to a new SCBA system, which is wonderful. We appreciate you guys. We funded that this year. We've taken delivery of them here in the last month. We have them on all the frontline apparatus, which are great. However, the old stuff and the new stuff doesn't commingle. It's the same brand of stuff. If we did use one of our backup apparatus, you're going to hear this from the union as well, but I've told them it's a stepping stone of improvement, but I would like to go ahead and put the new bottles on the other trucks, because right now, if a firefighter goes down in a house, if the person that's rescuing them cannot connect to their bottle because the bottles are not interchangeable. I know it's a situation that we don't get into a lot, but if we were to get into it and it happened, it would be a bad situation. So I want to replace the rest of the apparatus to meet the new ones that we have now, so that they are interchangeable. The MSA, the bottles that we have will not work with the other system.
Any trade-in value or resale value or anything?
They actually have a life of 10 years, and these are almost done. So if you can't really sell them to somebody because you're selling them goods that aren't certifiable. It's a shame but I guess it's kind of that same with that training stuff. It's kind of they have a life expectancy. Once that's done, you can't really sell them to anybody, because then you're selling them goods that aren't guaranteed.
What kind of vehicle are you thinking for the battalion chief?
We've looked at several different ones. We want something that's not a Suburban like we have now. It'll have to be bigger. The Suburban actually has been, the studies on it is it's a bad idea for a command vehicle, because all the things that are in that vehicle become projectiles if you get in an accident. So we want something that has a separated cab from the back area. Which one did we look at? It was kind of like a small Freightliner truck. It was basically it's a bigger truck, like a 550 truck instead of a 250. Four-door pickup truck that would have a cab on the back or a utility box on the back. They make them just for the fire service.
Yeah.
You've probably seen them up at FDIC if you went up there. We looked at a couple different ones. Like I said, the 60 doesn't buy that vehicle.
About 80.
But we had 90 in there, and Les and he cut it to 60. But with the safety equipment, I think that we can, between the two, the vehicle can be bought with that, and the box can be bought in the other line item.
What about the furniture and fixtures for the?
Furniture's same line item that we've had. That is basic furniture for the 5 stations, from kitchen chairs to couches, TVs, end tables, just whatever you would, stoves, grills, microwaves.
Other than that fire that we went over in Lloyd, they don't have anything else, do they? I didn't think so. Oh, yeah, that's pretty quick.
Was the safety equipment the last?
Safety equipment is what I was talking about with the bottles
Yay, and the equipment for car 5.
Gotcha.
on the safety equipment, on the furniture.
Is that like gear also?
They have about 30,000 left over.
The bottles,
Each pack's gonna be about $6,500 for each total setup.
How many do you need?
We need about 12 more. Now, also in the safety equipment is our gear
I don't
that
think-
we purchase. I just talked to Jay,
65, but I think we just need 9 now.
9, okay. Along with that safety equipment is gear, bunker gear, and we have some now that's coming up over 5 years old, which is, so it's all the newer gear, so there'll be some, we replaced one this year that was an older set that was shot, and we'll be reviewing those to go through to see what kind of shape they're in. Hopefully, they're in good shape, but that's what some of that will be for also. That's about $2,200 a set, something like that. Not cheap.
You know, I've got my notes down here for Lloyd justifications, and I failed to mention, when we talked about improvements, is we need a generator that's aged, electric fans, and we want to put a GoPro camera on the command vehicle, and then a gear locker that we need to get the gear down at Station 1 out of the sun. It's not supposed to be in the same room with the vehicles because of the exhaust. All the other firehouses have a separate gear room. Station 1's, all the gear is sitting out in the bay, but that's actually a no-no as far as the gear with the fumes on it. But so we wanted to get gear lockers in that place where they put their gear in it. But the GoPro is for critiquing fire scenes. The GoPro is a camera that would go on the vehicle that would give us an idea of the scene. We go down, unload it, take it back to the firehouse, and we show what's happened and go over. It's a training mechanism. Pretty effective.
You can use that on the roundabouts too.
Yeah.
I think the roundabout's a good idea. I just went through it twice today. Had to go out to Sellersburg for a 911 meeting. I think it's going to work.
Sorry, I brought it up.
It's bad about 7 a.m.,
They're not really
7:30.
So it's not going to work at 7. The time I went through it looked fine. It was just,
Monday,
You have the
it
big
was,
trucks going through?
it just kept going around the circle, around.
Monday it was bad,
Got 2 lanes.
Tuesday it wasn't, and today it was bad. I don't understand. I don't know, because it's meth clinic, they all got their hit Monday, and they got their hit Wednesday. I bet tomorrow it's not bad.
And I think Connie's right, when there's more big trucks there.
Yeah.
So
that's
Eric,
where
your
they pick up 2
part-time
lanes
request,
and-
that'll be employee request. We will discuss that after circuit breaker.
So you had said that we can cut 35 off of the capital lease payment.
We didn't get that.
So that puts us at 9,899.
You need the 3 firefighters.
899.
You know, this is,
And look how much the police gets. That's amazing. Look at this.
for if you had, like on your phone, laptop, or not laptop, but a tablet or something.
Who's next?
Anything else? Anything else? I've got to my other,
It'll be less if you come back from Indy. I'm sorry, what, Eric?
any other questions about any of the line items in Lloyd?
No, I think you explained it all very
Uniforms.
well.
Thank you.
Uniforms is for the 3 additional guys, helmets, mask. Here.
So
Nothing
if
else?
if we get that new car 5, it's the bigger truck. Does that mean we can get rid of the dually and not have to
No.
have it?
No, we won't get rid of the dually. We're getting rid of one of the Durangos. We have a couple vehicles that are about 8 years old.
And I think the purpose of the dually was to pull the boat though.
Right?
Freightliner should pull the boat, shouldn't it?
No, we don't want that.
No, that's
We don't want the
taxi.
command vehicle pull.
Taxi.
Would you use the red Suburban as a backup, like a?
It would get handed down to one of the fire marshals that now, we got a couple vehicles, got 160,000 miles on them, so we're trying, some Durangos that we would get rid of. Probably trade that in on, or if they would take it. All right.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you. Thank you,
I have a
Bruce.
question. Not for you, that's okay. How much voice are we gonna have left after everything's taken out? That is my friend, that the 911 command, and their health insurance is going up.
Which will mean.
Which one means ours is going up for them.
If you adopt the budget as presented, it'll be down to 1.1 million at the end of 16. If we spend everything budgeted this year and our revenues come in as projected for next year, there's a moving part.
If. Which it should, because Lloyd is based on,
Lloyd should be okay.
so I'll make sure we're not, it's like every time it gets more and more and more.
And I just hate to spin it all the way down.
I do too.
But because,
We have another fire truck
police,
accident.
yeah, police
or-
and fire, when they need stuff, it's big ticket items.
Right,
And it's right now.
And it's an emergency. And
right,
it's awful nice to have that, to say, okay, go do it.
right. If we spend it all, then we're gonna be stuck.
Then we kind of start setting what we're doing is we're setting the high water mark for,
I don't like taking the training out of here. I don't like taking anything that's really not capital out of here. Or,
right.
Well, some of it was, training was capital, like the props that they use, the walls that they bust through and for their
no, that's
burn
not what they
house.
were saying that this was for. They said this was for the TVs.
Can we go eat?
That would
Is
be
there more to
capital.
do?
If
No, we need to go
it doesn't matter if we go ahead and break and go eat, even though we had it scheduled for 6, we're waiting for Les to get back.
Call me.
No, kid, I'll go back.
I don't know, I babysit at work all the time.
Okay, Mr. Merkel, we'll start with, you want to start with the mayor's first?
Yeah.
Or not? Go
Yeah, that's
ahead.
fine. The mayor, trying to think.
And just so you know, we've been telling all the department heads that basically what we did last year is we pulled the performance pool under council, the capital 5,000 and above under council, and also any new employees, excluding the public safety, basically till after circuit breakers.
I think on the mayor's, the only, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the only major change was putting the money back in the promotion line item that was cut last year. I think that's it, isn't it, Amy?
Well, I have some questions,
Okay.
just because I think maybe there were some changes. We have 35,000 in the administrative assistant, and administrative assistant 2. Did Judith get switched, or?
I think she was always a 2 and it was budgeted in the wrong line prior and we corrected it.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't look like the.
And then, what is the overtime for, Les?
There should be no overtime,
We
right?
have
I mean,
$1,000 in overtime.
do we ever use overtime?
I mean,
I mean, I guess technically she could be eligible. See, she's hourly, which,
She's what?
she's hourly, so,
Got $36?
why, I mean, so potentially there could be overtime there, so I think that's the reason we have a line item in there in case it would ever be needed, just in case, because she can't work, because she's, non-exempt.
looks like $176 and 14 and then 36 this year.
Yeah, so let's just, we would do, Nathan, just wait, talk about it later?
Yeah, it's nothing.
Okay.
No changes?
And what did they advertise? Is that when you advertise for meetings and things, or?
I don't.
The mayor.
On the mayor,
I mean, is that for, what is that for?
just advertising. I mean, the ads that he runs, but they're ads for the city of Jeffersonville.
Oh, because I thought all those came out of the promotion budget. I mean,
No.
unless we're talking about different ads.
No. Promotion will be like if he buys tickets or a table or something like that. They sort of overlap.
I would like to know what that.
Yeah,
Where you advertising?
probably very similar.
Not
Sometimes.
less than 14.
I'm good.
You good with mayor? Okay. And we can move on to law since.
I don't believe there are any changes in law, correct, Amy?
I think the only change is to the
Yeah.
Okay.
What else do we
Then,
have?
Board of Public
Board of
Works,
Public
which I'm
Works.
trying to find.
Department 90 is
Which page?
14.
And I think the only change on this one was adding back in, correct me if I'm wrong, adding back in the line item for
For what?
contractual services, correct?
it's a reduction.
Oh, it's actual reduction, okay. All right, well, it's a reduction. There you go.
I was gonna say, we had contractual, okay.
Next.
And the postage, that's for the whole city, right? And they do the postage machine and all that stuff. And then the city Wi-Fi, I want to just ask about
Oh,
this.
go ahead.
Is this, like what's downtown, is that, or is it just this building, or?
I think it's actual city, the city,
Because
city
I hear people
Wi-Fi.
complain all the time that it doesn't work, so I.
I know my brother says he can never get on it when he's downtown.
That would be a question for Matt.
The downtown Wi-Fi is built on very unstable, it's an unstable infrastructure. It's like you've got different points or different antennas on buildings, and if one goes down, the whole thing goes down.
Well,
and it
it's
takes
all
them
the time,
forever
so
to fix it.
something must be down all the time.
It's a very flimsy
So
setup.
I'm thinking, is that something we want to continue? I don't know. It's just, if it's not working, why are we paying for something that doesn't work?
Right.
Or
I
fix
don't
it.
disagree.
Oh, yeah, let's do another.
Well, I mean,
It's a conversation to have because
Yeah.
Well, I know I can never get on it, and I know as much as Jamie's downtown, you say you can't get
Yeah,
on
that
it.
doesn't affect, like, if Buckhead has their own separate Wi-Fi.
Separate.
That's a totally
Entirely
different
separate.
thing. So if the restaurants have them, then that doesn't affect the city Wi-Fi.
and most people now,
We'll have to have it.
most businesses, if you have your own and then on top of that they set up their own hotspots for their customers. So like the Red Yeti, for example, when I go there, I can use the Red Yeti's Wi-Fi for up to an hour, for free, and then I can pay to continue if I want to.
Oh,
So the
okay.
cities, I mean, there's really not a tremendous need, in my
We
opinion.
have a sound contract that I guarantee is a term for us.
I remember
That would
Wayne
be a-
Carter did this when he was on the council.
I don't know, that'd be a question for Matt. I don't know.
I'm just, all my point is if you were to take it out, I'm gonna make sure we're at miles.
Well, see, it was before Matt was done, was here, so.
Roger.
I don't know exactly,
But Matt has a good point, he's correct, most of these little restaurants and bars, a lot of them, they have their own little hotspot, that's what you're right, so. To me, I think a lot of people are using Wi-Fi downtown, they're gonna be sitting in those places anyway, for the most part.
Yeah.
Not just sit down the street. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just-
I don't know, I
I'm
just
just-
asked because I've heard
I've
that.
never heard anyone able to really use it. I've not heard anyone use it.
Well, I'll ask Vicki to see if there's some kind of contract. I'll talk to Vicki about that, and then probably have to have a conversation with Matt and IT, and
I would say Matt,
I'll let our
I'd say
young
Matt would be the one to probably know most about it.
Motion to adjourn?
Wait a minute, do we have any more
Did you have other
questions?
Connie?
I rescind
No,
my...
about BPW.
I was just kidding.
Do we know
What's
what?
other services?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask, yeah.
I'm just curious.
What page are we on? I'm sorry.
What's that, Amy, other
14.
services?
14
Thank you.
Other services.
for BPW
Other services.
and charges.
I think they tried to keep,
Free trades?
some of the like the professional services and the contract services separate from, doesn't, Jacoby Jones and Lance do something?
That's
Or
the
no,
end of the
no,
first.
maybe it's the, internet monkey thing.
Survey Monkey?
Yes.
I say, because we already have professional services, then we have contractual service, then we have other
It's
services.
come out this budget when I do claims.
Darn fruit trade.
Yeah, I think Connie's right. I don't,
I think that, we personally don't like that other services and charges because it's so generic, but I know that for this budget, we wanted to keep.
Is it the coffee?
Yeah, there was something that,
coffee's somewhere in there.
Is it the coffee?
It's in there
That
somewhere.
would be
We're not-
something.
No, I would
don't
say-
see how that could be other services and
Other
charges.
supplies.
Well, if it's,
Oh, they moved it, that's.
I would say coffee's in that line item, so
I think it's in the supply.
Heather, can you check on that other
Check on that,
services
because we
and
just might need to move that and just.
put them all under
there.
one, yeah, because we got a contractual service, a professional service, and another service. We got 3 different lines with,
there was something that
we may want to move.
Judith has written,
It was the homeless task force, I think.
Well, you need to drink more coffee
That
now
came
because
out
they
of
haven't used much
contractual.
of it this year.
which is why contractual's been
Drink more
reduced.
coffee because
Yeah.
they haven't used much of it this year.
Coffee don't come out of there. I can't remember what it, I think it's under supplies.
yeah, Judith
We can
has it
drink
written
one.
down.
It's always
that
under
it's focused on
the
this
office
line, this
supplies, the
focused on that
coffee,
line.
I thought. I don't
That's
know.
all I have.
We'll let you know. Well,
Well, that was quick and easy.
You could have done this on the phone.
How about the roundabout?
I was coming from Indianapolis.
Did you come to the
you
roundabout?
didn't come via roundabout?
Man, you didn't want to take the.
265?
No, I was going 65. Indianapolis has a roundabout. They figured out how to go around theirs. So,
We thought
They
that's
figured
why-
it out.
Why we gave you more time.
no, I don't have a problem with the roundabout. I understand what yield means. So,
And you can follow signs.
yeah. So,
Even if it's just strictly on.
yeah, yield means it's not a stop sign. It's not a four-way stop. It's
Yeah,
a
'cause
yield.
you're not going to the meth clinic.
The people who don't understand yield are the same people who don't understand what merge means. So.
All right, thank you, Lau.
What's our, Lisa, our plan for tomorrow night? We're coming at what time? 6, 5?
No, I think it's 5.
5?
That is what it said.
Oh, Amy wants to do her budget real quick.
Yeah, what page you want?
We're cutting everything back.
What page are you on?
page 8,
8.
schedule it, so I knew I was filling a gap somewhere.
Okay.
She's filling that gap.
Yeah,
I'll be fast.
I don't know.
Do I have to give you the speech?
No, I've heard it enough times, thank you.
Okay.
So you're probably not going to like what some of mine are. I think they fall victim to that. So if you recall, when I was appointed, the mayor tried to get me a higher wage, and it was like, let's see how she does, and we'll revisit that, and it really never did happen. So I put in for a raise for myself. That would. I just got my master's degree in accounting in March, so I thought maybe.
I can ask you, what further education have you gotten? And you can say.
A
"Yeah,
master's
my
degree.
degree." Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And then I put in for an increase for Heather as well. I think in my absence on my maternity, you could see that she's deserving of an increase.
Way to step up.
In the payroll specialist line, our payroll has, as you guys can see, I think it's turned into like over $20 million expenditure every year, and it's really difficult for one person to manage that entire process. So I have actually asked for a new position. It's under the payroll clerk line. We had Liz come in. She evaluated. She agreed that it was necessary and needed. This person would work in conjunction with my current payroll person. We've agreed to take over the Kronos timekeeping system and house that under finance along with the payroll. All the ACA reporting, which is going to be quite intensive from what I've been hearing. And so those kind of things would all be owned, and we'd be accountable for those things under the finance department umbrella. And we have a job description created for that position. The 33,228 is actually 100% of that. I would like to ask wastewater to pay 20% of that position, as all my other positions are, and that would be 26,583. That's 80%.
Maybe I've got wrong information, but when we say wastewater pays a percentage,
Yes.
the way I interpret that is, this is the whole, and then wastewater's part, the city's part would be less than this.
No.
You're saying it's 20% more than this.
That's right.
See, I've always...
See, that wasn't
I
our
understood that.
understanding. That was not our understanding when we approved, that's what we've been kind of looking at, and that was that email that went out today. That's a discussion we need to get with Scott.
So you'd want to pay 100% here and then get reimbursed from the other entities, is that?
No, it was our understanding-
80% from the city, 20% comes from sewer.
Right. That's how it is.
That's what it's,
That's how it
You
is.
all
No, it's
thought,
not.
you thought that this was the
We
100%
thought
to get
if
reimbursed
their,
for it.
if their salary is 26,000, we thought 80% of that 26,000 is being paid out of general, and the other 20 is being paid out of sewer. Not 26,000 being paid out of general, and then 20% additional,
Yeah, y'all ran into that
because the
a
stuff,
couple months ago, didn't you?
So this amount is 80%.
That's 80.
total.
yes.
Yes, yes, that's correct.
But this,
See, so we need to see what the real totals are, because we don't,
Yeah, I gave you that allocation sheet the first day.
right.
Is it in their binder?
I handed it to them.
We don't have to
What's
resolve
here?
this tonight.
What's-
I-
But what's here for that person is 100% because they haven't got the 20% commitment. So this would go down
That's the
to 26,000.
Everyone who gets paid out of multiple. We can email that back out if you guys would like to see it.
You mean, you gave it to us on the first night, didn't you?
Yeah.
I'll,
so Amy, you are currently being paid 70,000,
Yes.
see, not 60,000.
see, that's where we're
See,
confused.
because
Because we approved a salary or whatever, and then that's not what they're being paid.
Is that on all?
No, that's what,
Departments or
that's.
just-
I don't know what you mean.
No, what we're
You-
saying is on here, she's saying she's being paid 60,000. I thought that was her total salary.
Yeah, but she's
And
actually getting paid
20% of that was
70,000.
being paid by sewer.
We,
Right.
If it
Yeah.
was being paid by sewer, it wouldn't be reflected in the budget.
It's in the sewers budget.
Right.
And, yeah,
do you not think
wastewater's
if before
budget.
people come and ask for pay raises that we don't need to know what their total salary is?
We should know what it is.
Apparently no, because in here it says she's getting paid 60,000, but in
She's-
reality she's getting paid 70,000.
She is paid 60,000 from the general fund budget, which is what is here.
But that's
But when
not
they
her
come
total
and
salary.
request a pay raise, we need to know what they're totally getting paid, whether it's coming from general sewer, apparently Annie's getting paid from general sewer and drainage.
To me, it
So
would
we
be
need to know their
easier-
total.
To me, it'd be easier to put 100% in here,
And then be
Right.
and then
reimbursed.
get a
Reimbursed.
reimburse, and then when you look at this figure,
Huh.
you know, okay, this is what they're getting, and then we're getting the reimbursement. That may
Right.
not be easier on your end.
Well, being everything's public, if the public came in and asked
Yeah.
us, what is she making? If I look at this and I say she's making 60,000, I'm giving out wrong information.
Well,
If
you
I
should-
had it,
That's why we have this sheet here that they gave
Well, we have the
us.
sheet because I asked for it. I would
Okay.
have known that.
I don't,
How do
That's
you
the
not know
problem
that?
that the auditor has with how our salary ordinance is set up with the tiers. They would like to be able to look at it and say, Amy Deering makes X. So,
And I think that's what we need to do, Nathan. I think everything needs to come out of the general fund, and then we get reimbursed from the other departments.
And that's fine if you want to do it that way, but don't sit here and say that you're being misled about who's making what, because you're not. I can look at this and know that that wasn't what they made, because I said in all the meetings that that process was approved. Nobody's misleading, trying to be deceptive of what they make. And I don't think it's fair to say that.
did we say misleading or did we say it wasn't our understanding?
Well,
Yeah, I think that's what we
Because when I
said.
went back at minutes, what we approved the salary to be, and then I went and
that's
seen
not how I
this.
took it. So if that's not what you meant, I apologize, but
Well, thank you.
I just
We don't
wanted
need to get all
I just
defensive, but
wanted
we're just
to.
trying to find out, ask them
Yeah.
what
I'm just
somebody's
trying
total, what
to
they make.
clarify.
There
No,
should
we
not be an
haven't.
issue. When the president of the council wants to know how much the controller makes, I would like to know what her total is.
That's fine.
and I should be able to get that.
Why can't you?
And why do I have to wait to get a sheet like this to know what the total salary is?
Also, if the public sees this, that's what they think too, because they don't get this. So,
I mean, we can
So when
put,
they come and ask for a raise, so when we can figure in what they're wanting, so she's making 70,000, and there's the tiers to get to, you need to know what she's making so she don't go above pay grades.
and every January, we file a 100R with the state, and it shows everyone's salary, every city employee, and that's filed on the gateway, so anybody can look up and see. It's all public information, what our salaries are. I'm just saying, it's all transparent.
and I know it's on there because
It's in the Senate. Whether they pay for multiple funds or not, the salary ordinance reflects.
Right.
You adopt the salary ordinance, it has to be not a salary.
Yeah.
Right.
Salary.
Doesn't it, doesn't salary
Salary
have a
ordinance.
range?
Yeah,
It
it has
does.
the range. It doesn't say that, it doesn't say what it is. It just has the range.
It has that we're 80/20, my whole team within, yeah. So if you want to do it, if you want to see 100% in the general fund budget, it's going to increase the budget, but we can do it that way and then get the reimbursement, however you guys want
Well,
to do it.
she had said that, I was just saying, it just is helpful when we know the total of what
Right.
somebody's making.
I suspect, and it was just it's frankly just kind of a misunderstanding of how I thought it was. But I suspect if you asked Steve or Tony, somebody new, and they looked at this, they would assume the department heads that, and there's more than, I mean, there's multiple people in the city get paid from different departments,
Right,
or wherever else. That's been going on for a long time.
right.
But I suspect they don't have the knowledge to say, okay, let me go pull it from here, let me go add it together. And I think that
Sure.
it's helpful for us to know, what does this position in the city pay? That's kind of the intent of it. The reason I was just wanting to get clarity.
I agree with you there, Nathan. I mean, maybe even you can put a slash through there where it says 80, people,
Yeah.
because there's going to be a new council next year. And even if when you have a pay rate, it's got a slash and it has an 8 behind it, or 100%, or what, because that would be confusing. But I don't think anybody was trying to.
No, we've
No, we were
approved
just
it
trying
all.
to figure out
We've
what their
approved-
total
yeah,
salary
We've
is.
approved it all, it's just,
So like formatting, you're talking about how it's formatted.
Right.
You can see it.
Yeah, one page, when you're looking at it, but
you're glad you went tonight, aren't you, Andy?
Oh, yeah, it's fun.
I just don't see what the issue is
Oh, well.
when you just ask what somebody's making.
with that being said, and moving forward,
Okay.
You learn.
With the implementation of our new financial software, a lot of my team's positions have sort of morphed into something new, and we've taken the time to meet with Liz and kind of update job descriptions and also their performance evaluations, because as I went through those, a lot of the stuff was irrelevant. I didn't feel like it was a fair evaluation. So with that, my AP clerk used to be more of a data entry type position, and right now it's become more of an audit. Like, we're looking for coding, we're looking to make sure it's within the budget, it's an allowable expense. So that position is sort of more robust than it was in the past. So I've also put in for an increase there. I guess that pretty much sums up my 100 series.
Amy, for clarity's sake, for me,
Uh-huh.
all your 100 series, does everybody in your department get something out of sewer?
Yes, everyone's 80/20. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. So down to my, since I was asking for some increases within salaries, I did try to go through my 200 and 300 series and make cuts just to kind of offset some of that increase as much as I could. And so within my supply categories, we've cut $3,000 from the 2015 adopted budget, and we've cut $1,500 out of our 300 series, and we cut $8,000 out of our capital category. So we didn't just try to ask for more. We tried to find places where we thought we could, trim it down. So
One question, kind of going back to the 100 series, the performance pool, was that just based on calculation
Yes.
Because if the people get the raises, will you not need the performance pool, or?
Oh, no, I would take the performance pool out if the raises were, yeah. That's a good point. I meant to do that, actually. I did have 2 employees that I didn't ask for an increase for, so I'd like to leave in their amount. One was my administrative person who actually was reviewed and increased, I think, last year, and the other one just didn't really seem relevant, so from meeting with Liz for an increase. Are there any other questions about any of the other line items?
Is the computer software maintenance, because it doesn't look like you spent anything yet, but I know you've done it.
Yeah, I think that comes due in the 4th quarter, and it's our financial software. Yeah. It's one bill that comes, yeah.
So you're sure that's enough in your advertisement with all of the stuff you all have to have, all additional appropriate public hearings and?
Well, we spent $655, and this year, for the first year, we don't have to advertise our budget in the newspaper, so that's a big reduction. It's just on the Gateway website this year, so.
Wow.
Mhm. So I think we're okay, Lisa, on that.
One question, and this is for me, because I don't know, why was, on 2014, the equipment was 227,915, and it backed off so much? I mean, is there something built there in 14?
Yes, that was part of we went on a new financial software, and that was to upgrade a lot of computer equipment, timekeeping equipment, and things of that nature. That was kind of a one-time.
15 from that, okay, I just,
Yeah.
no, thank you.
Good question.
You had one, right?
I'm sorry. That's right, yeah. I don't have any secret money
No void?
anymore.
Anything from Lloyd?
Nope.
Sorry, that was your joke. He's usually the one that jokes about Lloyd.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, 5 o'clock tomorrow night.
When they do any homework? Don't let Steve and tell him to come back with a report or something. They recommended changes.
I already had to write an essay.
Well, you all kind of know how I feel.
That's what all the movies have to do.
I'm nervous with the revenue
Second.
versus expenditure, proposed budget, so. Do I have a motion to adjourn?